Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Warenberg. Thank you so much to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today we have a full sturgeon blue moon in Aquarius, and so we have a tarot pick a card reading for you today. Today's full moon, as usual, full moons are always about letting things go. They're about cycles ending. They're about the end of a moon cycle every 28 days. So this is about releasing things. This is about letting things go. This is about we can take time to be reflective and kind of be intentional with releasing things from our lives. Today's blue moon, it's called a blue moon because a blue moon only happens if there's the rare occurrence of, we have 4 full moons in one season. Normally there's only 3, so there are 4. And so this is the 3rd one of the 4th full moon in this season. It's called a sturgeon moon because this is named after anyone in the North American continent. This is the time of year when sturgeon fish are plentiful and it's easy to catch them. And then in Aquarius, yes, this is correct. We do have 2 Aquarius back-to-back full moons. So if you watched my last tarot card reading for the full moon, it was in Aquarius. But again, because we have this like extra blue moon right now, sometimes this happens because lunar cycles are only 28 days. And so sometimes it just happens that we have it in the same zodiac sign in a row, just so like because the zodiac calendar doesn't match the Gregorian calendar. So big long name today, full sturgeon blue moon in Aquarius is what we're working with. But as usual, this is a pick a card reading. So I've inserted a picture of the cards. I have 3 groups for you today. You can pick the group by the number, by the card you can see, by the sound of my voice, group 1, group 2, or group 3. Take as much time as you need. All the timestamps are below. And when you are ready, I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. As a reminder, full moons are about letting things go. They're about releasing cycles. So I'm going to be reading the cards in that way, in that frame for you. Obviously, you can watch this when it's not the full moon, and there could be a message here for you. So just take what resonates like always. For this group, you picked I Follow My Inner Guidance, this beautiful card to start off your reading. I love it. It's very beautiful. So maybe for this group, you need to be a little more self-referencing. Maybe it's time for you to release listening to something outside of you. Maybe you've been trying to like submit to something outside of you. Maybe it's a societal standard or in your culture or your religion or your family, or just something that maybe you had internalized that you hadn't realized you internalized. And so maybe it can be time to let that go and instead focus on, I follow my inner guidance and trust that a lot of times things that don't make sense to the rest of the world do make the most sense to us. And it's really important for us to listen to the inner guidance that we have so that we are able to be able to move on the path that God has chosen for us. And we do that by listening to the inner voice and the inner guidance that's inside of us, instead of defaulting to maybe things outside of us that don't feel the best. So if you want to reflect on maybe some ways you've internalized something outside of you, some authority outside of you that really doesn't resonate for you anymore, and it could be something that worked for you in the past, but as we grow and change, sometimes we have to grow and change our personal belief systems. And so if that feels resonant for you, I would encourage you to just believe that and trust that inner guidance and follow it. And, obviously whatever I'm speaking, whatever's coming up for you is your intuition trying to communicate with you about it. Okay, so very nice. So as usual, I'm going to start with your tarot and then we'll clarify with your oracle cards. Okay, opening your reading, reverse 6 of Cups. So right away, let me just tell you on my cards. Well, let me just say, I feel like this, what I was just saying with I follow my inner guidance, because this is in reverse. This is the inner child card. I feel like what I was just saying with I follow my inner guidance, this is really echoing what I was just saying about sometimes we need to release a belief we've had when we were younger. And then when we become an adult, we find something that is more suitable for who we are and matches who we are now. So just very want to reiterate that for if you pick group 1, that could be a message for you. Okay, 6 of Cups in reverse to the Ace of Cups to the 6 of Wands, 2 sixes, 10 of Pentacles, wow, 9 of Swords, King of Wands, and then 5 of Wands. Okay, so for this group, like I was just saying, I feel like there's something that you are outgrowing from your childhood, something that Maybe you felt like, really served you up until this point in your life, or something that you didn't realize there was another option for you to live your life because you were busy healing other things or clearing other things up in your life, which sometimes can happen. But now you're at the place where it's very clear that to have an abundant, overflowing life, and look at this progression into the Six of Wands, into the Ten of Cups. Okay, so it's very clear that you turning away from this is going to give you abundance, physical reality support, and the ultimate Ten of Cups abundance card. We love that card. But so this is really, if you can reflect with this full moon, what do you need to let go of? Maybe get clear about why you're scared of letting it go. Maybe, you don't want to disappoint your family. Maybe you don't know who you'll be if you don't have that belief anymore. Maybe you're worried about, this was something that I was for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and now I don't know who I'll be without it, right? So sometimes even if we can feel that we've outgrown something and it's not for us anymore, it can be scary for us to let it go because we've built so much of our identity and our sense of self around it. So this is coming up for you, it could be that you have a big life path change. It could be that you worked towards something your whole life, and then once you got there, or you did it for a certain amount of time, you realize, wow, that's actually not the thing that's for me long term, even though I thought it was. And so just getting really clear about what are the ways that your something from childhood isn't really matching your inner child anymore. And again, part of life that can be so challenging, why people get stuck and why we don't want to go through things, is because, again, that ego identity that we've attached to that thing might seem a little harder to connect to if we if we just cut that thing out of our life in a way that maybe we didn't think we had to. But look what's going to happen if you do. That is your secret to abundance. Okay, so Ace of Cups is about like emotional fulfillment that overflows into physical reality, especially when I see it go into this card and into this card. It's really beautiful all together. But we'll talk about these two, right? So when you do kind of let go, so some of those things aren't for you, you create that emotional fulfillment in your life, that Ace of Cups energy, that overflow, that abundance, right? My cup runneth over. And a lot of times we think we have abundance once we see it in physical reality, but always it starts internally, and it's a feeling we connect to, it's a frequency we tap into before it's anything in physical reality, right? It's that catch-22 of once you feel you embody abundance, then you can connect to it more easily outside of you. You feel more grateful for what you have what you have, and it just feels like enough more than before. So this is really saying, not only how can you let go of some of those things that aren't serving you, but also how can you tap into more abundance right now. So maybe with this full moon, you can think about, what do I need to let go of, or how have I been trying to keep up with the Joneses in a way that maybe I don't actually need to? How do I have enough, even if I feel like I didn't before? So really just getting clear and identifying the ways that, maybe your cup is running over, but maybe you were distracted by something else, or you were distracted by what you have to let go of, or the ways you have to grow, which, like, no judgment, we all do that. That's just, we get lost in the sauce sometimes. So this is just really about what can you let go of in terms of judgment of yourself, and instead notice all the abundance that is in your life, because what we see from that is it radiate outward into this beautiful Six of Wands. And so this is really about fulfillment. This is about getting recognition for that fulfillment. So it could just be finally, once you shift your energy, that's what radiates outwards for people. So this could be about you getting very clear, this is what I have, this is what I'm grateful for. And then that abundance is going to be celebrated by people around you and things outside of you. And just really honoring that with that Six of Wands, just really celebratory, beautiful energy. And then the theme of your reading, which is really nice, is this Ten of Cups. Beautiful. So again, I feel like the more that it's obviously we need a certain amount of material things to survive, to be alive, all of that. But this is really about, tapping into that feeling of abundance, tapping into that feeling of, I have enough. I know God loves me. I know Spirit is taking care of me. I know my higher power is guiding me every day. So I feel like with this full moon, you can really tap into the energy of, what do you need to let go of to, especially as we close out Leo season here, what do you need to let go of to already feel like the royalty that you are? What limiting beliefs, maybe what material items, sometimes we think we have more, we'll feel more abundant, but sometimes that just blocks our energy because it's too much clutter, right? Emotional clutter, and physical clutter to have the same energetic vibration. And so it's just very clear about sometimes you need to release things with that. So what are ways you can tap into this abundance and let go of some things? It could just be emotional also, but what can you let go of on this full moon to already connect to that 10 of cups that's coming up? And then from what I see from that also, so ending your reading, we do have the 9 of Swords, the King of Wands, and the 5 of Wands. So I feel like this King of Wands is what you need to anchor to with this full moon energy. This is what you need to know, that you are the king, again, regardless of your gender, just king energy. You are king energy, and it's right there for you, and it's just yours to take and yours to own and yours to embody. But on both sides of that, we have 2 cards that maybe might not feel the best. So we do have this 9 of Swords and the 5 of Wands. So sometimes when we do need to embody this energy, this King of Wands, especially with this, sometimes we do get distracted, right? Part of self-mastery is being able to, when you're in your house and you feel comfortable and you have everything around you that you need to feel like the most abundant person in the world, right? It's easy to tune into that frequency. But I feel like that, surrounded by these 2 cards, is really saying, how can you use this full moon? What distractions do you need to let go of to be able to own this energy? Because we have, again, this 9 of Swords, this 5 of Wands. So I think this is more about the internal distractions you have, and this is more about external distractions you have. So with this 9 of Swords, just really thinking about, what are your fears? What are things that keep you up at night? What might feel like a nightmare? I'm worried about, and even in terms of like letting things go when we go back to this, right? So what can I let go of? What can, what feels fearful to me? And then you can just ask with this full moon, ask your higher power. You can write a letter, you can say a prayer, whatever, you can just envision it, whatever feels good for you, but just say, like, please help me release some of these fears I have. Please show me how to move through these fears to get to what I want. You want to let go and release some of these things that might feel totally debilitating or totally not helpful for you. And so that's some of the inner work you can do with this. And then again, embodying this king energy is also going to be about not giving into some of these like distractions outside of you. So this is about self-accountability. This is about being personally responsible for yourself. And so, if you have a habit of, when someone mentions a certain word or a certain topic, you can just spiral and you just want to argue, or you just want to, and there is healthy conflict, but sometimes, we can engage with like something that's not healthy, right? It's just a distraction and it's an ego game, and it's, I want to win this argument so I feel better about myself. So I think this is really asking you to be accountable and just take inventory for yourself of like, okay, I know, I can see myself playing out this pattern that when someone talks about this particular thing, I get really triggered and I know I want to jump in and argue, but for what, right? A lot of times we can't change people's minds through arguing. It's usually through compassion and through embodying the energy. And so I think this is really saying, to have some of this abundance in your life, to have peace, to embody that, this is going to be about like letting go of some of those distractions of conflict, like for nothing. And if this card is really chaotic, I mean, just look at it. Really chaotic. Okay, so this is about saying like, you're fighting for what, right? Again, there is an opportunity for conflict as closeness with people we care about to further understand. But if you're arguing just for argument's sake, this can be about just getting clear about your triggers, getting clear about ways that maybe you engage that aren't actually beneficial for yourself. Especially, now we have the internet, we have social media. It's so easy for us to just open anything and just get lost in the comments and just get triggered. But all you're doing is sitting there in a room, but your like nervous system is like flying out of control for no reason, right? So just getting very clear about the ways that you might be engaging in conflict that, you don't need to be there, because, and then I think letting those things go, again, this is something with this beautiful card, I follow my inner guidance again. You can really connect to that feeling of, okay, I know I want to feel peaceful. I know I want to feel clear. So like, God, show me the way. Right? That's a really good prayer for you on this full moon. I know I want to let go of my habit of doing this, but I don't know how. And the way you do it, being willing is like the whole battle. And that's where we can rely on our higher power to kind of guide us to do those things in ways that maybe we thought we couldn't, because it's, my higher power, God, the universe, whatever you want to say, does for me that which I cannot do for myself. And so as long as you are open and honest and willing to make it happen, then a miracle will happen. You just have to, with this full moon, be willing to recognize your patterns, and then, again, confront these fears about why can't I let this go, and release it. Okay, then we have your oracle cards. Okay, so I feel like this is what I was talking about. So we have my vibes speak louder than my words. So this is about embodiment. This is what I was just talking about. Look at these cute butterflies. Okay, so this is really about, you arguing with someone, what is that going to do, right? So if when you, there's that quote, right? The world is changed by your example, not by your opinion. So this is really saying you will do more for the world when you embody what you believe than if you stand there and like preach it to the whole world. So you can take a moment to get reflective, to, again, with this full moon, ask your higher power to show you how you can release like the doing and the proving energy, and how you can move more into like the embodiment energy of it. Because we also have the card adaptation. And so I think this is really saying, again, whatever's coming up for you that you feel like you need to release to get to this new layer of who you are, this new person of who you are. This is saying you do have the ability to adapt. You are an advanced soul. You are someone who can kind of shed some of these ego identities that maybe you never felt like you could, but you can release those in order to move into this new version of who you actually are. You can, like, it's very clear. And then we have the angel prince of the north. So I celebrate my uniqueness with joy and gratitude. So I feel like, again, if you're worried about like disappointing something or letting something go, or, just feeling some uncertainty about being on the unique path that you're on because it doesn't match something outside of you, or, this internalized belief of who you had to be for so long, this card's really saying, like, it's literally saying I celebrate my uniqueness with joy and gratitude, but it's also saying that that is an option for you. And it's like kind of the path to move forward. It is about knowing you are on your unique path. And there's so many lifetimes we have in each lifetime. There's so many uses that we are in each lifetime, just because we do have this ability to change and adapt as certain things happen and as we move forward in our life. Then we also have the Great Gathering. So it's all coming together, intuitive hits, soul tribe. So I think, again, this is like intuitive hits. I think it's just very clear. I follow my inner guidance, really clear, trust your path, trust what you're doing. And I think this is really beautiful with the Great Gathering, right? How many times do we meet people in our life after we've gone through some trials and tribulations, and then you meet someone and you're like, oh yeah, they're like, I was doing that on my path for 5 years too, and then we finally meet up, and that's why, right? So you can meet with the people who are for you, you can connect with the people that are for you. Everything you're doing is part of your path to get you where you need to go. And so just having faith with this group, like when you're releasing some of these things that don't serve you, you're moving into this version of yourself that's going to be a match for the people and the things and the experiences that are for you as you continue to grow and change. And then last one, this really didn't come up in your reading too loudly. There's not any pentacle energy here, but this card is for financial healing. So your money struggles are a thing of the past. Be open to all avenues to receiving, and you'll be provided for in every way. So just a little, if you're struggling with this, or you feel nervous about finances or what's going on, if you're doing all you can, just remember to keep showing up and keep going, and you will get to some clarity as long as you have a plan in place, and things don't happen overnight. And so it could be that maybe, something you're letting go of could be related to your finances or a job or a career or something. And then once you get to the other side, you really will feel, some abundance from that place once you kind of trust this path. Like, even if doesn't feel anything's happening right now, once you get through this and you kind of embody that energy more, the money will come. Again, physical reality, abundance will come as a result of this, like, connecting to the inner overflow. Okay, and then last thing, I want to pull one more little affirmation for each group today. I feel really called to do that. So if you get nothing else from this video, I just want to leave you with one affirmation. If you've been here to the end. I love my body. How nice. So maybe you want to write that today, or just own it within yourself, or hold some energy for yourself. I love my body. Okay, that's everything I have for you. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy full moon. Release something today. Let something go. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So you pick the group I do the best I can. Very beautiful. This card reminds me of the High Priestess. There, the imagery with the crown and then even similar colors for if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite Tarot. So this is really about knowing that you do the best you can, and it is important for you to. Sometimes we can get so focused on pushing ourselves to let me get to the next thing, let me get to the next thing, let me make the next thing happen, that we can forget that we are doing the best we can. Even if it might not seem like it to our minds, our body is going at the pace that our body can go at. And so it's up to us to really honor ourselves and be kind and compassionate and loving to ourselves, even if we're not moving at the pace we think we should because of society, our expectations for ourselves, or whatever else. So I forgot to say at the beginning, this is a full moon. So full moons are about releasing things. It could be thoughts, physical items, cycles. It's the ending of a cycle. So just being reflective on what isn't serving me anymore and what can I, let go of during this time. So I do the best I can. This could be if you've been a little judgmental towards yourself, or maybe you've been putting the work towards something and it's not happening in the time or the exact way that you thought it was gonna. This can be about, letting go of that and trusting that you have done the best you can, and there's no need to judge yourself as long as you're showing with a pure heart and pure intentions, and it's God's time, not our timing. So no matter how much new age wants to make us believe we're in control, we're not. God is in control, not us. And so as long as we show up with a pure heart and doing the best we can, that's all we can do, and then God will ordain what is for us from there. So if you need to be a little kind to yourself, you can let go of some harsh thinking. That's the first message I'm hearing for this group, for group 2. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot, and then we'll clarify with your oracle cards. Okay, so first we have the 8 of Wands, right into the 4 of Wands. Wow. And then Strength, 9 of Pentacles. This is some big energy, group 2. The Hanged Man, 2 of Swords, and the Fool. Okay, so with this group, I feel okay, this is about a lot of action. So I feel like the first thing, I'm just getting so much at once. Okay, the first thing with I do the best I can, when we're thinking about that, sometimes I feel like we can, even if something happens, but it's not the exact way or the exact turnout or the exact physical reality way we thought it was going to happen, we can judge ourselves for that. So if you've been taking a lot of action, putting in the effort, putting in the energy, putting in all that, that's what the 8 of Wands is about. It's about making sure action is being taken, making sure something's happening, making sure things are going on with all of that. So I feel like this going right into the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is also the 1111 card, kind of the gateway card into the next layer of your life. And so I feel like this is really saying if you haven't seen the results from you putting the effort in yet, you will soon. And so what you can let go of with this full moon is some attachment to the outcome. You can let go of, it has to be this exact way, this exact time, this exact moment, this exact whatever, right? So you can pray to let go of the outcome. You can pray to let go of the timeline that you're on. You can pray to let go of, the whatever it's good to have that visualization in our mind. That's really helpful for us, like envision what we want. But when we're too attached to that, it has to be this exact way. We actually end up blocking ourselves because we aren't open to it possibly being another way than what we're imagining. So this is really saying, with the 8 of Wands, as long as you're taking action, you will get to that gateway. And then going right into the Strength card, it is going to take some strength. Okay, not just strength, but it's going to take patience. It's going to take calling on your inner knowing, calling on your inner self, calling on this inner energy, that even if it felt like, I have been doing everything, and sometimes the strength we need is to be more patient. Right? It's annoying to hear, but it's true, right? Sometimes we don't need to go out and do something, but we need to actually just be present and, just let go. So with this group, I'm getting a lot of letting go, a lot of affirming. I do the best I can. I am doing the best I can. I'm doing all I can do, and I am not in charge of the when, where, why, how this thing happens. So, with this full moon, I think letting go of what I was just talking about with releasing some of it has to be this way, it has to be like this, it has to be whatever, and instead focusing on how can you fortify your inner strength, right? So sometimes what we learn while we're waiting for something is preparing us for what we're waiting for. So if you need to practice some strength, if you need to practice some patience, if you need to practice whatever, this is, some of that energy you can call on for yourself. Because I love this card for many reasons, but especially this infinity in there, right? So the energy loop that we have is always going. And so you can always send feedback to yourself. You can always give feedback you can always up your prayer between you and your higher power, just pray, like, please help me, so common to say, Lord, give me strength. It's a very helpful prayer, right? And here it could be, Lord, give me strength, Lord, give me patience, Lord, give me whatever is going on for you, where you feel like you can't connect to this energy of, this is what's happening for me, or this is what I need to happen for me. And instead just really owning that, like, okay, the strength I need in this time is maybe not to be as judgmental to myself. Maybe it's to be more patient with myself, right? So maybe letting go of some of these ideas of strength, of going out and making it happen, and instead really focusing on the strength I need right now is patience. The strength I need right now is letting go. The strength I need right now is to be able to sit with my uncomfortable feelings. That takes a lot of strength. Sometimes when we focus on external, we don't build up as much resilience within ourselves as the strength it takes to do that. And the center of your reading, the theme of your reading, really beautiful. We have the 9 of Pentacles. So I feel like, again, this is like a lot of action. Getting you into this space and then having patience along the way will always result in this physical abundance. So Pentacles, abundance, I say all the time, it's more of a frequency, it's more of a mindset, it's more of, getting you to where you want to be with that. But with this 9 of Pentacles, it's really about owning the energy of, abundance comes inside of you, but this is really about that being reflected to you in physical reality. So this is really saying, that the time is going to come. There are things that are going to show up for you. You will have this abundance. You will be honored in that way for yourself, and really owning that and, claiming it to be yours, right? That's what you want to do, is you want to focus on the abundance that can come from all of these things, instead of feeling like, I'm so disconnected from them, or I can't have the things I want, or, whatever. And just knowing that the things that are given to us are always more than enough in terms of meeting our needs. And when we're grateful and when we know that we've done the best we can, then that's all we can do, right? I do the best I can. I love this affirmation for this group. Okay, and so part of that energy is just knowing that what you are doing is enough. And so part of that with this card, I think, is knowing what you have is enough, right? You can start with what you have, and that doesn't mean that you want to stop growing, or you want to stop creating new things, or you want to stop whatever, being a better person. That's not what this means. This just means, let things be enough as they are right now. Because what I see after that is the Hangman, this is the card of like playing yourself. This is, you need to take a moment to be still, to be calm, to kind of hang yourself up and just be like, okay, time out. Let me just regroup here. Let me get it together. Let me, and I think sometimes when we take a moment to pause and reflect and to decide, is this enough? Is this something for me? Is this what's going on? Sometimes we have some doubts can come up with that, with this 2 of Swords, right? So if you really take a moment to pause, sometimes, when we are talking about strength for this group to come up as not doing things, but instead of just being peaceful and staying present in the moment and just connecting to what's around us right now, instead of trying to like make another plan and another plan and another plan, right? Sometimes we just have to let things go. When we do take a moment to be still and be peaceful, it does take a lot of strength and connection to ourselves and patience to build a relationship with ourselves that feels fulfilling and whole and welcome. And so with this Hangman, it's really about owning that energy, owning it for yourself, and just knowing this is what I've done. And so this is why I give myself permission to take a break and be reflective. And then again, going into that 2 of Swords, you could, when you do that, maybe why you don't feel comfortable doing that, or why it feels fearful for you, is because there's this fear of, well, what am this is like the card of a crossroads, right? This is like, well, what if I don't know what to do anymore? What if I don't know what to choose anymore? What if I, so maybe some overthinking might be coming up if you like take a moment, take some inventory, take some reflection, and just think about, okay, what actually is going on for me? What actually is the most beneficial for me and people around me? right? What's the best thing to come up with that? So this is really saying just taking a moment to identify that and to trust that, part of part of having faith is having faith, right? And so sometimes we won't know the exact right thing to do, but we just need to like go out there. And obviously these thoughts will always come up to challenge us, to make us question ourselves, to whatever. But as long as you know that that's coming up, it's easier for you to, with this Fool, to close your reading, kind of take the leap of faith to move forward. So I think with this full moon, if there's something, maybe you've taken a lot of action and then you have the strength to be reflective, and then now you see some abundance and you're thinking about the next thing to move forward with your life. This is really is about taking a leap of faith. It's really about, knowing that part, again, it's not about moving from A to B, knowing what exactly is going to be right there for you. Be right there for you, right? Okay, it's about knowing from A to I'm going to be okay, whatever. If it's B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, right? So it's not, you might not know the exact thing that's going to come up next for you or be there for you, but part of having faith in yourself and in God is knowing that once you do move forward and once you do take that step moving forward, you will be able, on this card, it looks like there's nothing off the edge of the cliff, but it could just be something right here that we don't see is right there, right? So the jump, leap, and then that will appear, right? That saying. So just really having faith and trusting that you are moving in things that are for you. And so with this full moon, you can ask to let go of some of those fears of, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this? What if that? And instead, like trusting that, you can remind yourself, I do the best I can. And so I know that whatever comes next, I know I can handle it, or I'm resourceful enough to figure it out, or I have the resources to figure it out, or I can say no, or, whatever's coming up for you with all this. So just really having that faith energy is really coming out for this group, for group 2. Okay, now I'm going to go to your oracle cards. Look at this. Look at that. Strength and strength. Wow. So I also want to tell you, if you feel like you're not strong enough to handle these challenges, strong enough to figure it out, whatever, I don't pick my cards in advance. If you've never watched a reading of mine before, I do not. So this is just a very, very strong message to remind you, you do have the strength, you do have the ability, you have the skill set to be able to figure out whatever it is you're choosing for yourself or you're confused about, or any and all of that. You do have the strength to get through it and figure it out. And okay, this is really beautiful. So trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So this is what I'm just saying here with this faith, just having faith, and just, if you really believed in yourself, and if you really believe in your ability and in God taking care of you and wanting what's best for you, then this is really, a question. So if you knew you'd be supported, what would you do? So it could just, a way to reframe this, maybe in the full moon, could be, if I knew I was supported, what fears could I let go of? Or what thoughts could I let go of? Or what things to control could I let go of? If you're trying to stay in this theme of, letting things go with this full moon. So really thinking about, if I'm trusting my path, what can I release and what can I let go of? Because we have this beautiful one, open your third eye for echinacea. It's safe for you to open your center of clairvoyance. By doing so, you'll see the truth. So I think this is, again, more so about your own inner strength, your own belief in yourself, your own releasing maybe some self-judgment or some of these thoughts like, I can't do it, this isn't for me, this isn't going to work out, right? This could be a full moon where you focus on releasing some of those thoughts and instead focusing on, sometimes we can open our third eye for guidance, but we can also open our third eye to feel the love and nourishment from our higher power. So you can do something very simple. We just imagine like your third eye opening in a meditation, and then imagine like this white light love from your higher power pouring over you, taking care of you, showing up for you, making sure that you do have, the best guidance for you. Like you can envision yourself enveloped in like this wonderful cloud of light and love, and that you are being protected and being guided. So this is also for like creative solutions, as we're saying, but again, if you feel like a crossroads, you can do some of that meditative energy where you call in this love and care, not compare, love and care and compassion for yourself as you're connecting to your higher power. And then just even going along with that, we have the guardian angel creativity. So creative energy flows for me the more I choose to express my feelings. So again, I feel like if you've been doing a lot of action, which is fine, we need that, we need to have balance. This is really saying, it's also important for you to feel your feelings, to know you are doing the best you can, to meditate, to pray, to spend time connecting to yourself and your higher power through stillness, is a way that we get to be creative. And remember, creativity is also ideas. It's also new thought processes for ourselves. There's a lot of way we can be creative besides just, the traditional creativity, which is, making art or doing this. That's obviously creativity, but sometimes creativity can be thinking a new way about ourselves, or being more kind and compassionate to ourselves in a way we didn't know before. And then we have this last one. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. So again, I think a big one for group 2, what has come out is just being still and connecting to that energy, and just, again, having a mindful moment. It could be praying, and praying can just be a simple thing of like, God, please remind me that you love and care for me right now, right? That can be a simple moment for you. It can be a mindful moment where you just take a deep breath and feel your body and just remember, okay, I'm here, I'm doing a good job, this is working out for me, right? That's another way you can create a mindful moment. But yeah, just remembering that miracles are natural. You are love. You are an expression of, like, you're a child of God. You are here to hold on to some of that, like, really beautiful energy. And just when we, again, are really focused on taking action and really focused on making things happen and doing all that, we do need to have a level of that. But if it gets to the point where you ignore that connection and that stillness within yourself, like, no matter how much action you take, that never will overcompensate for feeling whole within yourself. Okay, and then last thing I want to do, I felt called to do this today. I just want to pick one little affirmation card for each group. So for group 2, we're just going to end with one affirmation for you. What do we have? I let grace lead the way. Very beautiful. So I think, again, this is really connecting full circle with this reading. I do the best I can. That really is giving some grace and compassion to yourself, and really is just, I let grace lead the way, just being mindful, being kind, being compassionate, being understanding towards yourself. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. And I hope you let go of something today, whatever that is. Use that full moon energy, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So as a reminder, full moons are about letting things go. They're about releasing things. So I am going to read the cards in that framework today. But if you're here when it is not the full moon, this is a timeless reading. Just take what resonates, of course, as always. So for group 3, you picked I am forgiving. So this is really beautiful. I feel like forgiveness, as we try to move on and, with this full moon energy, let things go and release things. Sometimes forgiveness is something that irks people, or doesn't feel the best, or we feel unsure about, or we feel, well, why would I forgive them? Why would I do this? Forgiveness isn't about condoning or saying you allow something to happen. It's just about releasing energy that you don't want to carry forward. And so for forgiveness, just thinking about as you're trying to move forward, or maybe something you're trying to let go of, you can think about who or what do I need to forgive? So it could just be, I forgive this situation for being what it was. I forgive this person for this way. I forgive myself for staying longer than I should. I forgive myself for ignoring my intuition, telling me this wasn't the right thing, right? So sometimes when it's hard for us to let go of something, it's because we still need to release a layer of forgiveness that we haven't yet. So for this full moon, you can think about what you're trying to let go, what you're trying to release. Is there something in there that maybe needs a little bit more forgiveness than you want to admit, right? It's really nice to be like, I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't whatever, but we always have our own side of the street, even if it is, like I said, just staying for too long, or ignoring ourselves, or internalizing someone else's negative behavior to mean something about us when it doesn't. So just a little one-on-one forgiveness here for this group. This is coming through as a message for you if you pick group 3. And if you picked it, you can see the cards that I'm forgiving. So something in your consciousness is connected with this in some way. Okay, so I am forgiving. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to start with your tarot, and then we will go into your oracle cards to clarify. Okay, so starting, we have 3 of Wands, and we have 7 of Pentacles in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, Temperance, Knight of Wands, the Empress, and the Star. Okay, so we got you might be going through it, group 3, okay? Because we have 4 major arcanas and a 7-card spread. So we have the Lovers, Temperance, Empress, and the Star. So tarot is split into the major and minor arcana. Minor is the Pentacles, Wands, Swords, and Cups. And then major is all of the cards that don't have one of those 4 items with them. And so major arcana is like a little bit more clear, heavy hitting energy because it doesn't have a suit. It's just kind of by itself. So I feel like if you are really going through it, definitely this group needs some forgiving energy. I also just heard maybe you need to forgive yourself for needing healing time that you need, or needing the time to process something that you need. So maybe if you have gone through something and you're trying to release something, sometimes a way we can forgive ourselves is just like the judgments we have on ourselves. Why am I not over this yet? Why am I not moving forward? Why didn't I create a new life for myself here, right? We can't rush a process of releasing something within ourselves. And so for this group, I'm just getting like some really strong energies. So if you need to release something, even self-judgment, that's something you can forgive yourself for too. Like, I know I'm just trying to protect myself so I can move forward, because maybe I don't feel like I deserve to take the time to process this thing, or I should be over this thing, or I should, should, whatever. But just know with forgiving, you need to get really clear about the things you need to release and let go of. So from what I'm seeing here is opening your reading, we do have the 3 of Wands. So this is about making a choice. It's about taking a moment to reflect about where you want to go, what you need to do, where you want to put your energy with all of that. So I feel like there was a choice or a decision you had to make. It could be that you actually made a decision. You had to say no to something in physical reality, or it could just be you had an internal shift of, I used to think I want this thing, but upon some further reflection, I don't want that anymore, or I want to release this thing, or I thought I was going down this certain path, but now I'm going over here. And I feel like a lot of the heavy energy that's coming up is maybe this is about a breakup. I normally don't ask because this is, I believe in like personal empowerment stuff. So this isn't like a love reading. But for some of you, because the Lovers is in reverse here, it could be a breakup. It could be a shift in romantic something. It could be a shift in this new thoughtfulness of, what do I actually want? Is this relationship actually for me? It could be with a particular person, or it could be around, getting some clarity of like, okay, I thought I could be with this type of person, but now I know I can't, right? So some type of crossroads is coming up. I feel like what it can feel so heavy is, the 7 of Pentacles upright is about looking at all the work you've put in. And so this could be just realizing like, I didn't need to put that much work in, or I put all that work in like quote unquote for nothing, or this was something where I invested a lot of my time and energy and thoughts. It was a belief I carried for a long time in my life. And now I'm kind of like stopping and being reflective about it. And then again, it could be about a particular person. It could be about dating in general. It could be about romance in general. It could be about whatever. But I feel like some shift around how you show up, or what you want in terms of a romantic partner. If you decided, you really wanted to be with someone, and now you decide maybe, no, I want to focus on my career right now, or whatever. Or maybe again, you took a new change in your life and you realized, okay, this is actually, now that I believe this, I need to be with a partner who, whatever. Or I didn't realize like my religion, or my sobriety, or my how many children I want to have or not have. I didn't realize that was such a big deal for me. And so now, now that you've accepted that, right, it's kind of like taking a moment to be like, okay, what is the disruption here that might be causing you something? So I feel like just going back to this card with this full moon, you can release a lot of, if there has been self-judgment, if there has been, maybe I'm a bad person because why couldn't I just stay the same and not disrupt my whole life? And now there's like chaos because I want a different path than what I thought I wanted. But just remember, in the long term, the ironic thing is, when we cause ourselves more discomfort, when it's time for us to move out of our comfort zone, but we don't want to, than if we just move out of it, right? So that temporary discomfort is going to be worth like the abundance and the fulfillment of yourself that you'll feel once you get there. Because looking at the second half of your reading, I mean, there could be a lot of chaos and sadness, and like a lot of realizations with this part. But the second half of your reading, right, the theme of your reading here for group 3 is temperance. So this is about finding balance. It's about restoring balance, about taking a moment to be still. It's about, recalibrating yourself. So I feel like whether you've made a decision or not, whether something has changed outside of you, or whether you, it's just kind of something internally you're processing, and maybe it wasn't a decision that involved other people. Whatever it was, you're in this place now with this full moon where it's time to let go of some of that process. And again, I just hear a lot of forgiveness, right? And even with this water energy, just like imagine yourself like being washed clean. Imagine like, if you do a meditation or a prayer, just imagine yourself like coming out clean, like just washing away some of these old negative thoughts that are just repeating a lot of pain for yourself. With all that, just regaining your footing, creating more balance for yourself, just a way you need to take the time to nourish and replenish yourself before you can move forward. And I feel like maybe with this, forgiveness energy, you haven't given yourself enough time to have your emotional process around this. So I think with this full moon, you can ask God to help you release some of this judgment of, oh, well, I should be past this by now, or I should be at this place by now, or I should not care about this thing anymore. Right. So just giving yourself, release some of that judgment and some of the blocks around not giving yourself the time and space you need to heal and release some of this and move forward. And instead just be like, okay, how can I create balance in my life? What chaos do I need to let go of? That could be a story you're telling yourself, a belief you have about yourself, any of that. How can I let some of that go? And instead tap into, this temperance balancing out of energy that you need to, again, give yourself permission to do that you weren't before. With that, because after that, just look at this. Even if you don't read tarot, look at these beautiful energies all together. So the Knight of Wands is about fast action, moving forward. So I feel, God always makes up for quote unquote lost time, right? So for the amount of time you think you're losing by giving yourself space to heal and deal with it, if you don't deal with this now, it's just going to come up later, and you don't want to deal with it later, right? You're going to have to deal with it now or later. So you might as well pick now and give yourself permission to rest and kind of remind yourself you're a good, loving person and you didn't have malicious intentions, right? And so once it is time for you to move forward, this Knight of Wands is really going to move you, like, again, God making up for lost time means that once you do your part and take responsibility for yourself, when it's time to move forward, all this stuff is just going to be like, boom, move forward, here we go. It's just green lights, we're moving, all of that. So this is really about having faith that, you following your guidance and doing your piece of the puzzle is what makes everything happen, is what makes everything move forward. And, when we do our part, then God is able to do the part that God has to do so that they can come together and there is movement and things just kind of float. When you get in that place where it's just like, okay, now it's happening, now it's going, things are moving, right? And sometimes that's easier for us to feel good about because we feel like we're in control of something if we can see something happening. But this is really saying don't, if you have any judgments, and what you need to let go of for this full moon is like, healing is a waste of time, or taking care of myself is a waste of time, or giving myself the space I need to heal is a waste of time. So anything like that that's coming up, just focus on releasing that with this full moon. As with this Knight of Wands, this is about moving forward, is about creating something new, all of that. Because then we do have, look at this, to close your reading, the beautiful Empress and the beautiful Star. So the Empress is really about owning your divine feminine energy, again, regardless of what gender you associate or identify with. This is just energetically the Empress. So this is really about just owning who you are, feeling really powerful, really strong, coming out on the other end, just really like being in your power, knowing that, this balance of some masculine action energy with this Empress, knowing intuitive, beautiful energy here going on, and then going into the Star. The Star is also about this beautiful same imagery as Temperance. So this is about healing energy, but it's also about something from the surface like coming up. So this could be about, when you take action and embody some of that energy, what happens is, something comes to the surface, or comes from the water, from the subconscious, right? Or there's something that comes out even from God's doing that we can't imagine for ourselves. That is just so amazing, right? Think about how many times you just did your part and showed up, and then something happened that you didn't even know was possible, or you didn't even realize was a thing for you. So this is about being surprised, about good energy. So, just really focusing, like, when you do take the time to heal and give yourself permission to not judge yourself for taking the time that you need to take, this really is about, being surprised and just abundance overflowing, right? Water flowing, movement, things happening. So just knowing that that can be there for you. So I think with this full moon, you can release some of the judgment or the fear, or, how can you embody faith a little bit more with this full moon? So what do you need to let go of or release, or what wounding or things you feel bad about from like this situation and from the decision you had to make, you need to kind of let go of to create space for this to happen for yourself. Okay, and then with your oracle cards, this is like exactly what I was talking about. Okay, so balance your work, rest, and play. We have the yellow rose. It's important for you to have fun along with fulfilling your responsibilities. So this is what I was saying, not just even in terms of play, but just with rest, with this Temperance card. But of course, part of that is play. So giving yourself permission, right, is important to like intentionally be like, okay, I know I need to work on this, and I need to forgive this person, and I need to do this ritual to do that, and I need to write this letter and not send it, whatever. But remember to have fun. Okay, remember to play. And it doesn't have to be like, well, I feel like hell right now, Aaron, so I don't want to play, right? So this could just be a moment where you watch like a bee pollinate a flower. That could be playful, right? So just connecting some of that lighthearted energy. And just remember, it's an easy way to do that, of course, is going to nature, just watching this amazing system working on its own, just this intelligence we can't even understand. But also, if you can just take 10 minutes, you can watch a show you like that's playful. You can talk to your friend. You can go for a walk, anything that just feels like a little bit light. Don't forget to include that in kind of like some of your recovery process. And then, so we do have the guardian angel of spiritual growth. The way I become spiritual is simply to become myself. So this is what I was talking about in the beginning. If you did have to make this decision that maybe didn't feel the best, or maybe felt like, it wasn't something that you anticipated or didn't feel the best for you, this really is just to remind you that, becoming yourself means trusting yourself, listening to your guidance, doing what feels good for you. And then that's like how we become spiritual, because we are just honoring that intuitive guidance that moves us along the way. So the more we listen to that guidance, the more we feel like ourselves because we're listening to it. And then we also become more spiritual from that because we're just embodying that energy of trust. And then going along with that, so I pulled one card, but both of these fell out for this group, so you get two from this deck. The first one is transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. And then we also have unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So I think both of these, again, reflect a lot of what I was talking about in the tarot. So with this one, with the unbound, again, sometimes when we have to fulfill our karma with someone else, or we have to fulfill our own karma, our own dharma of like our life path in this time, we have to let things go or let people go. Not everything can come with us into this next layer of what we have to be. So when we have to make those decisions that don't feel the best, when we have to take a step back and say, wow, even though I put this much time and effort and whatever into it, I know it's not actually for me anymore. There is a process of unbinding from that, untangling from that, releasing from that, which might not always feel the best, but is definitely part of, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives, right? Growth is moving into that next layer. Even if this stuff over here felt really comfortable, growth is only accessible from over here, right? And then we have transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So this is, again, just having faith in the process, knowing that sometimes when we do need to rest and take care of ourselves, we can't see everything that's happening. But then one day we just wake up and we're just different, right? After so much time of taking care of yourself, of meditating, of praying, of journaling, of, so long doing that, all that adds up. And even if we can't see it adding up. So this is just about having faith that, especially things changing at a cellular level, deep healing, and then the you that will be ready to move forward and take action, can come from that type of energy. And then this one I just think is really beautiful for us to remember. So protection. So just remembering that no matter what you're doing, you are divinely guided and protected, and that things are for your highest good. And sometimes on earth, things that might feel bad to the ego are actually really good for the soul, right? So, breaking a pattern or doing something can feel bad to us in the moment because we're so attached to that. But then, once time has passed and we've done the work and we've done our healing, It's actually, we realized it was, thank God we did that, because it was so beneficial for us and for everyone around us. So just some protection here. Then this is just really good advice in general, but instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good of all. So really beautiful. So I feel like a lot of times, again, when you're stuck at a crossroads, or if you are thinking about making a decision here and you're worried about upsetting other people, just remember that as long as you're coming with a pure heart and pure intentions, the guidance you are given about what to do, again, as long as it's not like, I'm going to do this so I get this particular thing, but if you're doing it instead to, get these types of, like, to be on your path and to be like as close connected to God as you can be, just remember that you doing your part is also the highest good for everyone. And a lot of times, sometimes we're scared to hear our guidance or to listen to our guidance. We can hear it, but we don't want to do it because we're like, wow, that seems mean or bad or whatever. But, again, if you're coming from a pure place when you're praying and you are, acting for the highest good of all, it is going to be worth it for everyone involved eventually, with all of that. So just remember that you are not God. We are just here to act out God's guidance for us, and do our part, because there's so many things on the soul level that are going on that we don't know about. So just, again, praying, whenever you pray, just always end it with, please God, help me do this or whatever is necessary for the highest good of all involved, right? That's a simple way to end your prayer. And then something I want to do today for the readings is I want to just pick one affirmation card from this deck. So I'm just going to pick one for this group to end your reading. This one fell out, so I am lovable. Really nice. So I think, again, if you're doubting what I was just talking about with that protection, or if you're doubting like, well, if I do this, then people won't like me, or this won't be the right thing, or this will break someone's heart or whatever, it's reminding you that you are lovable. The more you love yourself, it's easier for you to make these decisions because you do trust yourself that they're coming from a place of kindness and care and grace and not like maliciousness. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy full moon. Let something go today. And I hope you have a wonderful day.